Well, Raymond, now that you're here, I've got a little bit of work for you.
David, I was fearing that you wanted me to do some work. This is an enormous shovel.
Well, what I'd like you to do would be to show us how you like to see clematis planted.
So yeah, okay, well, we all plant things differently, and I'll show you how I like to do it. Thank you. You've already done quite a job here, digging quite a big proportion of this hole here, but just finishing it off a little bit and breaking up certainly the base of the hole. And the very important thing is you break up the sides of the hole, because otherwise it's really like planting clematis in a pot.
First of all, choose a site that's well drained. So you got a free draining soil.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the test for that is to take a bucket of water and pour it in the hole.
Oh, yeah.
And if the water drains down, then it's fine.
Yep,
but if the water stays in the hole,
then you got a high water table.
And look for another place.
Yeah, I think that's really good, very good logic stuff. So, and if you have some really good, well-rotted garden compost, you can put that in the hole, and you can actually use a garden fork and fork that in really nicely. Here we haven't got that, but we got some very lovely compost here, and so I'm going to put some of that in the base of the hole here. And then I think very useful to just add some fertilizer here. So here, this rather nice fertilizer, just sprinkle a little bit there in the base of the hole. And then what we will do, we will just mix that up with the compost, fork that in, dig that in again. But of course the important thing is, while we were doing all of that work, what we did as well, we actually put the pot of clematis, the root ball, we put that in a bucket of water for 20 minutes, and that allowed the root system of the clematis to get really well saturated. Because if you didn't bother to do that, maybe when the plant was bought from the nursery or the garden centre, the plant, probably the compost looked and felt moist enough, but really it may not have been wet enough. So very important, whatever you think about it, put it in a bucket of water for 20 minutes, then it will soak up the water, and then that plant is going to get established. And this, you can see the plant has got a really good strong root system here, which is what we're looking for. And what I'm going to do, David, I'm going to place this now in the hole, but I'm going to place it with the root crown here below soil level. I'm going to plant it at about 2.5 inches deeper, so that little extra bit of depth there, and that will allow the plant to build up a root crown below soil level. So if it should succumb to clematis wilt, be damaged by winter, be chewed off by deer or rabbits or anything like that, then the plant has got more than a 90% chance of regrowing from below soil levels. Place it now in the hole, and just placing it there, and then I'm going to really tie its bamboo trellis to the metal support here. Maybe look a little bit unsightly, but what I don't want to do is to disturb the stems, the vines, or these lovely flower buds that are just starting to come. So then we get on with the job of really putting some compost back in around the plant. And gosh, David, I've never used a shovel with such a long handle as this. And when you're growing a clematis in a garden location like this, very, very important that you use some other ground cover type plant, a perennial plant, or maybe a summer type bedding plant in the plant that in front of the clematis. This will give a fantastic shade to the root system of the clematis, and we all know clematis love to grow in a microclimate with other plants. So here with this lamb's ears, it can be placed right there in the front. So David, I think great idea to plant clematis in a situation like this with a very fine support, looking very attractive, making something vertical in the landscape. And then the important thing is water that plant, make sure that it's well watered. And then we get to the spring, and of course then we chop the clematis down, the ponytail cut. You get it like that, and you chop it off 6 to 9 inches above soil level, and then up it will go. And clematis kingfisher here will get up to about 6 feet in height, and that's going to look absolutely fantastic, David.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you.
A pleasure, and I enjoyed using your shovel.
Good job.